Morning.
Morning. How are you, John?
Good. Just a couple minutes late, you missed the pledge.
Actually, I was here, but I didn't want to walk in there alone.
Alright. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes from the
Yeah.
August 19th meeting?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alright, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approved claims filed with the county auditor for $926,737.79.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Approve employee claims filed with the county auditor in the amount of $1,970.02.
Motion to approve.
Second.
First and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve preliminary plat for major subdivision for Dan Hoover. Amber, you want to help us out with this?
Yes. Yeah. Your paper copies there.
Okay.
So this preliminary plot is on Walker. Everything on the preliminary plot has the contour lines, the setback distances, the proposed location for the septic and well. And then in regards to that, everything for the contents of the preliminary plat for our subdivision ordinance, everything has been checked off. We do have two items that are not applicable for this plat, and that would be the 100-year floodplain. And then the environmental study for a sensitive area does not apply to this location. Other than that, just so you can kind of see the aerial side of things. So again, as Chad has mentioned previously, these two lots are just south of the north two lots that have already been subdivided and had the rezoning on as well. For this preliminary plat, the planning and zoning members did review this at the beginning of this month and approved the recommendation to proceed with this.
And they came up with no conditions, did they?
Correct. Yep. No
And
condition.
is each one of these gonna have a separate driveway or shared drive?
The way that I understand it, I believe, is that it's just going to be one driveway and it'll just one driveway off of Troy Mills Boulevard, and then from there we'll break off into the separate houses from there.
I make a motion to approve this plat for Dan Hoover.
I would second that.
I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Next up is to discuss the sump pit water alarm for courthouse basement.
Okay. We've approved moving ahead with foundation recovery for the sump pits down there and putting in, improving the drainage to go into the sumps. They are able to hook an alarm up that would just go to a phone, but I got a quote from Hawkeye Alarm, who we use for our alarm system here at the courthouse and stuff. And they can actually put an alarm system in for if the sump systems fail or we have flooding down there, reporting to dispatch. And the cost for adding that alarm system is $568, which includes all material and labor, wiring and everything. The cost is $568. They said if we wanted to install an additional secondary alarm for higher elevation, that would be an additional $285. My thought is the additional one's not needed because the sump system is gonna have backup pumps that are battery backed out also. So I think an initial alarm coming in would be sufficient. So that's what we have on that, and I could coordinate and find out if we go ahead and approve that, if when they probably would do that after the foundation recovery is done with their project. And then they would have a place to mount, best mounting of it and everything, so.
Is there a monthly fee once it all gets installed?
No, it'll just be
Okay.
hooked up into our, going to our panel that's already down
Down
there,
there.
so.
So there would be.
It'd just be like we have the gas alarm, you know, we added that a few years back
Yeah.
and stuff like that, so. It would just report into that, so no, there's nothing about an additional monthly charge for maintenance on that or nothing, so. I would think it'd be necessary because it just could be added protection for us in case something does fail and happen down there. I think it's well spent money, so I would make a motion that we approve putting that alarm and hooking it in.
I'd second that.
I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Discuss asbestos proposal for courthouse.
Thanks, Amber.
Yes, thank you guys.
Hey there, again, this is a project that I reached out to, we talked about, not being able to get parts for our outdoor spigots and they're leaking. Independence Plumbing said there's repair parts not available for them anymore. The original building ones are 1939. So we need to do some updating because we have got some that's leaking and causing brick problems and stuff like that. And it's wise when you're adding these that we put it inside when they actually hook up to the piping and stuff. We've got some insulation wrap around these pipes that are gonna needs to be removed. That's contains asbestos. So to remove enough of this insulation off the piping so the hookup can be made and then add a shut-off valve on the inside to do that project from Advanced Environmental out of Waterloo. The cost to do that is $2,950. So if we're gonna change hydrants out, this is almost a must, and we have nobody on staff here that's certified to do that stuff.
Is he gonna replace that then with foam insulation or what?
There's no, they won't do the insulation, so we'll have to put the insulation back on it, which won't be no big thing. We can just go with Swan Fleet or wherever and pick up some insulation, some wired ties and put it around the piping. And they'll do the air monitoring and everything that's required for that. And they said they wouldn't really need to shut down the office area because these areas, they just basically go in, there's a door going back where this is, and they can just shut that door and go back and do their thing and stuff back in those areas. So we've used Advanced Environmental many times here. And they always did us a good job and worked with us really well. So
I'd make a motion, we approve the bid from Advanced Environmental.
I'll second that.
Have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discuss 911 ceremony on courthouse lawn and 21 gun salute conducted by VA. Here,
Small Jim Lawler.
Come on up.
Go
Go on up there so I can hear you.
already. Better shot with a camera that way too.
Well, long story short is, too many people have forgotten and we want to carry on the remembrance. And the place we have out here is an ideal spot for it. The firemen, we used to work together with them. They do their own thing now through the schools and they move from small town to small town. So we want to keep it alive and independence. And so we thought we would do a short ceremony here. It's basically, we'll put an ad in the paper. We'll talk to the Legion, between us and the Legion, put some things together. As far as the military and the people that served during all the wars on terror and stuff, there's a lot of people from here that are affected. So anybody that's been in war or served, you never get over it. So we want to keep the memory alive, and we'd like to do our ceremony, which is similar to military rites. I know there's, we will have a preacher, we'll have a prayer. A few people will make some statements, and then we do 21 gun salute and taps, which is the final, respect to the people who gave their all. So it's not a long lasting ceremony. Take half an hour to 45 minutes, probably at the most. And we just think this is an excellent spot to do it. We have that at our disposal now. It's a beautiful place.
We get a lot of good exposure for the memorial out there, so.
Yeah,
It'd be good.
Are they gonna be doing, will the fire department be doing the ringing of the bell at this ceremony too?
no, they're doing their own thing because in the past, and we've done it since day one or the year one, we worked together. The first few years, 50, 60 people came. It was getting down to if we had a dozen. So we don't want to let it die.
They used to bring in the big ladder truck and stuff and drape the flag.
Right.
Will that be happening or not?
No. In fact, their honor guard is going to Winthrop this year to Stanwood. Then that evening, they're going to Stanwood.
Yeah.
So that's started to move around. So that's why we want to keep it alive here and do our.
You have your own color guard and posting the
Right.
colors and all.
Yeah. Yep.
Will that be taking place on,
It'll be,
the 11th
yeah,
of
and we'll
September?
probably do it around 9 AM. So
Okay.
if we get approval to do it here, I think it'd be great. I think it would bring more people and give people a reason to remember. So,
Mhm. One thing that I think would be good for us to check on, if there happens to be, I don't know if this would make a difference or not, if there happens to be a court thing on that Wednesday, going on,
Right.
shooting in the volleys, I don't
We can
know if that,
we can change timing on it if need be. If we shoot, we normally shoot to the east. We won't shoot to the east in this case because we don't want to be shooting at the building. So we will line up to the northeast probably. And the only thing that scares the vultures off the water tower.
yeah.
So, and we've done it. We've talked to the police chief and the sheriff. And they have both okayed the shooting.
Okay.
Good taps. We do 3 volleys, 7 shooters. And it doesn't last long.
No,
But, if there's a situation with court, we can change our time.
we can check on that with the clerk of courts and then get back with you, make sure that there won't be a conflict or, and I don't know if that'd be an issue or not. It just something that came to my mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure it would be an issue.
So,
Yeah, it's over in a matter of a minute.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's very quick.
And then we'll play taps. And then have a final prayer and that's about it. So,
I make a motion, we go ahead and approve this ceremony.
I had a first and a second. Any further discussion? All right. Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you,
Well,
Joe.
thank you.
Thank you.
You can let us know on time.
Yeah, when you guys get more details of time and everything, would you send me that
Sure.
information?
Yeah.
And I can post it here in the courthouse and I can put it out on our courthouse
Sure.
Facebook page.
Cause we might even have some employees that wanna go out there and watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
We're gonna talk to the high school and St. John's and see if they have some young people and people that need to hear it. We all remember, most of them really don't know what it's about. So we'll talk to the schools and,
It's hard to believe how many years have gone by since
yeah,
9/11.
And St. John's is real close too. That would be.
Yeah, they're close. and Dewey, we worked with.
And you got a minister across the street.
So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hopefully,
Watch
weather's,
that gate.
hopefully the weather's good that day too.
Yeah.
Chris, I need to get some information.
On,
My lawsuit.
I haven't heard word.
No, but I do get, because I've been corresponding with it.
Okay.
Thanks again. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Here to public comment. Anything for the good of the cause?
I was wondering, Chris, you got anything drafted up? Look what our next meeting means. Is Monday is a holiday. Have we got much coming up that you know of, or
Not
can we
that I,
bypass Tuesday? Being we doing claims today?
I have a couple manure management plans currently. That's all. That's up to you guys. It's your meeting. But as far as I know, or have any correspondence I've got, I haven't gotten anything regarding.
We can play it by ear here and see what happens, comes in by the end of the week. And if we don't have anything,
Maybe let me
pretty cool, pop
know,
in Thursday or something.
let me know Thursday by noon. And I can keep you posted on anything I've received, and then you can make your decision, or let me know what you wanna do.
Cause it worked out pretty good with claims, doing them
Mhm.
today, so.
That Tuesday, we do have that safety action plan meeting at the EOC.
I think that got canceled. I see something about being canceled.
I haven't seen it.
You could be wrong.
Still got it on the calendar.
I think overall, I would give a pretty good rating for our ISAC conference down there we had last week in Des Moines. Seems like, it's quite long when you go down there and stay down there that long and stuff. We stayed until the very end. We even
Mhm.
listened to the housing presentation and stuff, so a lot of information passed around down there, and good information and stuff, and so I think it turned out well. It's well worth, our elected officials going down there.
Our opening speaker is a retired CIA station chief. And he teaches at Texas A&M, and the George Bush Center for Public, what is it, public policy or something like that.
Public affairs.
But
like that.
man, talk about a spellbinding guy. He and his wife are both CIA operatives. And he is from Lamar's and went to college at Iowa, got his law degree at Iowa. But got recruited out of Iowa to join the CIA. And he spent his whole career before he could tell anybody what he did.
He got kind of a secretive call to, invited down to Des Moines. The meeting. And he says, well, how do I know who to look for when I get down there? And they said, you don't worry about that. We know who you are.
pretty impressive. I could have listened to him for days.
But he lives in a gated community and probably has bars on his windows and doors.
Probably.
Well, he stated that he recently, I don't remember who it was that with him teaching, he was in his office. And it was like within the last few years, there was a particular student that they identified that that's the reason he was there, was to try and knock him off. They got the issue taken care of.
And we've got a lot of infiltration going on.
Infiltration sounded like.
He was in the Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant, retired in San Antonio. And during the Vietnam War, he was in Taiwan. We lived 50 miles away from Omaha off at Air Force Base. And he told my mom, my mom always talked about, you're in Omaha, middle of the country, you're safe. And he goes, well, no, not really. You got off at Air Force Base and you've got all kinds of strategic things around. And he told my mom, he said, he said, there's times I've left my family, so I'll be gone for 2 or 3 days. I'd be in Omaha, I can't come up to see grandma at the time or that type of thing. But he says, there have been people at your house that you thought were insurance salesmen that weren't. And he says, one of the reasons is they want to check on you. And he said, if something does happen, seriously, and his wife, he met his wife working at the Pentagon. She had high clearance as well. But he says, if Russia would take over the country back then, it was Russian scared during the 70s. He says, you'd have people here that would probably check and see what you knew and those type of things. Yeah. So he kind of scared my mom a little bit. And he says, yeah, you're not really safe. It's amazing to see what's going on. I should quit rambling, but this was in the 1970s. My brother graduated in 69. When you graduate from high school in 69, you know it all. And, you're kind of starting to wear a little bit of long hair and you're kind of anti-rebel. So my uncle was talking one time and said, hey, don't believe everything they put on TV. This is, 50 years ago. He said, a lot of times they put misinformation for you.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, back then, he says, don't worry about the Russians and a nuclear war. He said, we've got so many anti-aircraft weapons. And he said, technologically, we're further ahead of everybody else. He said, what's going to happen is they're going to undermine our youth. And I think the drug culture, that type of thing. And he says, they're going to take over South American countries and they're going to come up from the South and what's happening now.
Yep.
50 years ago, we talked about that. It's
Kind of scary.
I know when I joined the Air Guard, I had to have a high security clearance because I was a security policeman. And they do that background check to get you your security clearance. And it's just like with what you were saying, where they might pose as insurance agents, but they're out there doing security checks. Find out what your background is.
And I remember 40 years ago, I was a middle school principal at Wapsie, and I got a call from the Navy because there was a guy I went to UNI with that was in the Navy and he was doing security. And basically what he was doing, he was stationed in Maine and all the radar that was watching all the crawlers from Russia and the foreign countries that would come and spy on the United States coast and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on we don't know and probably don't want to know.
Chris, on this advanced environmental, did I send that on to you too? You got that?
Yep. Do you have anything else? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Right, first, second, all in favor? Aye. Thanks, adjourn.